The courtroom smelled of polished wood and old paper, but to the trembling widow standing alone before the judge, it smelled like fear. Her hands were shaking so badly that the stack of crumpled documents in her fingers rustled like dry leaves in a storm. The judge adjusted his glasses, gave her a look filled with irritation, and then something far worse, mockery. He laughed. Not loudly, not kindly, but with the cold smirk of a man who believed power was a license to humiliate the weak. The widow swallowed the sting, her eyes burning with shame, while behind her, the empty benches reminded her she had no family left, no friends, no one to speak for her. She was fighting alone against a wealthy landlord trying to take the last thing she had in the world, her husband's small scrapyard, the place where his memory still lived. The judge's laughter echoed in her ears like thunder over a broken heart. If you believe that kindness matters, that second chances exist, and that the powerless deserve justice, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. It helps voices like hers be heard. Her name was Maria, and she had been a wife for 30 years, a partner to a man who worked with his hands and gave food to strangers even when he had little. Their scrapyard was never profitable, but it was where they built their life. When her husband got sick, she sold everything she could to pay hospital bills. Then she buried him with dignity, even if it meant she had nothing left but debt. The landlord knew her struggle. Instead of compassion, he saw opportunity. He wanted her land for development, and with her husband gone, the vultures circled. She came to court with proof, receipts, letters, agreements, but the judge brushed them aside like trash. "You should have hired a lawyer," he smirked. But lawyers cost money, and Maria barely had food. Her knees felt weak. Through the haze of tears, she remembered the night before when she sat alone in her kitchen, staring at her husband's photograph. She whispered, "I don't know how to fight like you did." She didn't sleep that night. Instead, she walked to the yard before sunrise, touching the rusted metal piles, remembering how her husband said every piece there had a story. He once helped a stranded biker fix his engine without asking for payment. Another time, a group of travelers came through town broke and hungry, and he fed them from their pantry. "People remember kindness," he always said. "It's the only thing that travels faster than money." But now, standing in court, she felt forgotten. The judge continued to shame her, his tone like ice. The landlord's lawyer talked over her, twisting facts into lies. She felt her voice crumble before she even spoke. Her heart raced, her chest heavy, her mind buzzing with the feeling of helplessness. Just when she thought she would collapse, the courtroom doors creaked open. At first, no one turned. But the sound of heavy boots striking the floor made everyone look. The judge paused mid-sentence as more than a dozen leather-clad bikers walked in, filling the room with presence stronger than words. They were silent, but their silence spoke like thunder. Their jackets bore the same emblem, a pair of wings wrapped around a wrench. It was the patch of the group her husband once helped, the Iron Wings Brotherhood. The leader, a tall man with silver in his beard, walked to the front and stood behind Maria. His eyes were fierce, filled with loyalty. Without a word, he placed a thick envelope on the judge's desk, then another with photographs, her husband fixing their bikes, feeding their children, helping them on the road. The judge adjusted his posture, his smirk fading. The bikers didn't threaten, didn't speak, didn't shout. They just stood, their presence a shield around a woman who had walked alone for too long. The landlord's lawyer scoffed, trying to belittle the bikers, but the judge raised his hand. He finally opened the documents and realized that Maria's husband had signed agreements that protected the land. The signatures were valid. The dates matched hospital records. The receipts showed every payment she had tried to make. The judge felt the room shift, the weight of his mistake settling in. He cleared his throat as if trying to swallow the guilt. For the first time, his eyes met Maria's, not with mockery, but shame. As he considered the evidence, something else happened. One biker stepped forward, laying an old wrench on the desk. The judge frowned, but the biker said it was the tool Maria's husband used to repair their bikes, the symbol of the kindness that saved lives on the highway. Other bikers laid folded patches, small tokens, letters handwritten by those he helped. Each one was a testimony. The courtroom felt less like a legal battle and more like a river of memories flowing into a single truth. Kindness is evidence stronger than steel. The judge's decision came quietly, without theatrics. He ruled in Maria's favor, protecting her land and canceling the fraudulent claim. The landlord's face went pale. The judge apologized, not loudly, but clearly enough for everyone to hear. Maria's knees almost gave out again, but this time from relief. She pressed her hands to her mouth as tears finally spilled, not from pain, but gratitude. The bikers didn't cheer. They simply stood behind her, like silent guardians. After the hearing, the leader whispered that her husband once saved his son's life by giving him his only spare part. "We never forgot," he said. "He was our brother." Maria walked out of the courtroom not as a poor widow stripped of hope, but as a woman whose kindness returned to her like a tide. She realized her husband was right. Kindness travels faster than money. It travels through people, through time, through memory. It comes back when you least expect it. If this story touched your heart, if you believe kindness is never wasted, please like, share, and comment to support the channel so more stories like this can reach others. Before we end this story, here's a special request. Comment below what kindness means to you. One word is enough. Maria went back to her small scrapyard, and this time, she wasn't alone. The bikers helped her restore it, repainting metal pieces, repairing old tools, bringing life to a place built from love. Soon, travelers began stopping again, not for parts, but for stories. Her husband lived again in every memory shared, every engine fixed, every hand shaken. The judge never forgot the day he laughed at a widow and witnessed an army of gratitude walk through his courtroom. And Maria remembered that even the smallest act of kindness could echo louder than a gavel, longer than wealth, and stronger than fear. She stood beside the scrap piles at sunset, feeling the wind brush her tears, and she whispered to the sky, "You were right, my love." People remember.